torrent of abuse that followed last week's games against Manchester City will only continue. Brighton into the top half, into 10th. Watford up on the weekend. Leicester, as you were. Burnley consolidating 7th. Arsenal stay 6th. It's Everton that have slipped out of the top half. The Grey Rustlers here. Deserved?
Yes. Keeping their great momentum going into the last part of the season. Massive step in direction to safety. Apart from the 5 minutes just before half-time when Arsenal got their goal, had their chance with the header, I felt the game plan from Brighton completely worked. One save in the second half from a shot. For me, I'm so happy for Chris Hughton because the man is a blueprint how you get a team out of the Championship into the Premiership and surviving. And fantastic.
And a good man too, isn't he?
Good man and a fantastic story.
They're just about there now. They can actually see it. I think today was a huge result for them. Not just for their own self-belief, but 34 points, top half of the table, 9 games to go. Chris can almost start planning, Richard, for next season. And you can't deny they were well deserved today. They had more shots on at goal than Arsenal. They had more shots on target than Arsenal. This is Arsenal I'm talking about. They're in Brighton. And Brighton have been more dangerous than them. And Arsenal, to be fair, Peter Cech didn't cover himself in glory in either of the goals. This one, listen, he comes and tries to take it far too low for me. And then this one, I mean, this typified Arsenal first half. And most of the game, I thought the passing was really careless. I thought the retention of the ball wasn't good enough for players that play for Arsenal. And your goalkeeper can't afford to make mistakes like that.
The simplest step for me, the Brighton players, they wanted it more. In the decisive moments in the game, when the ball comes into the box, you need match winners in both boxes, and Brighton had enough of them today on the pitch.
You know, you talked about the game plan, and I think what Chris did really well, he was happy to concede space in these areas where they're crossing the ball from, because they know Arsenal don't cross it in. And when they do, they've got Aubameyang, but they're not quite sure how to use him yet, I don't think. Uwe, I think, he's just come in, they're a bit unsure what's his strengths, what is he going to do. So they were happy to let them have it wide and say, if you want to cross it, carry on. But if you don't, you're not going to play through us. And they couldn't play through them. Apart from the one goal, right on half-time, I thought they were really comfortable.
Yes.
So, without getting hysterical, what next for Arsenal? What next for Arsene?
Well, I think it's important, the word you used there, without getting hysterical. And I think this week there's been too many people back in the UK who had gone hysterical about Arsenal. I think Arsenal had an excuse last week if they wanted one. They were playing maybe the best team in Europe last week, and they had to play them twice, and they got beaten twice. So they probably had, if they want an excuse, they've got one. Today they didn't.
No.
Because Arsenal fans would have been demanding a response. The players must know the stick they're getting. You would have thought every Arsenal player went there thinking, we ain't getting beat today. I would have been like that. You'd have been like that. We ain't getting beat. I don't care what happens, we don't lose this football match. That's how they should have been going into it. The fact that they didn't, and they lost it, I think sets up Arsene for even more criticism than he got last week. And I think he deserves better. They might be having a bad time, and maybe he's overstayed his welcome. No, he's welcome. Maybe he should have gone. Maybe he should have moved on.
He's always had a habit of turning things around at the end of a season. He'll pinch an FA Cup win, for instance. What if he goes on to win the Europa League this year? Does that mean everything's forgiven?
I think as long as he secure Premier League status, I think he will carry on.
No, Arsene.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say Premier League status.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not going down.
It's not that bad.
Sorry, my fault. No, I think it's a similar, could be a similar scenario like last year with Man United. You know, when you win the EuroLeague and you qualify then for the Champions League, he will continue.
But can you see that team beating Milan?
No, not in the moment. Not coming on the back
Has that
of.
team got enough to beat Milan with?
Not right now.
No. If within that team, within that squad, have they got enough, if they want to beat Milan?
I felt I was massively...
Because they may change gear, Andy, when it comes to the Europa League, those boys.
But you can't.
That mindset that they have now.
Richard, you can't. If you're an athlete like a footballer, if you're playing the way they are, if you're as flat as they are,
Yes.
we've all been there at times. You know, Uwe suffered a relegation. I did as well. And I tell you, you cannot. It's not a tap. Form is not a tap. You can't just say, we're playing Milan.
If Ozil was playing for Germany this week, he'd be an entirely different player to the one we've just seen, wouldn't he?
Maybe,
so why not?
That's an
But Richard,
individual.
for me, is the players, they're hiding behind Arsene. They're hiding. They're waiting for something to happen. But they have to, the solutions are in that dressing room till the end of the season. They have to find that solution now against...
For themselves.
For themselves, with the coaches, with
maybe
the manager.
they can against Milan.
But
Maybe
in the
they-
moment,
maybe
they're
there's
not
a way
backing
back.
their manager with performances. Today, we all expected a really reaction from the
Just
players.
very sorry, Andy, very briefly, because it will be an issue. Did Stuart Atwell get it right? Might there have been a second yellow and subsequently a red?
Listen, he's not my favourite. That's a surprise. But when you see it like that, the first thing you think, Uwe thought was a clash of heads.
Yeah.
Right? I think he thinks that as well. So Stuart Atwell doesn't have this. If he did, he would have booked him and sent him off.
Reckless.
In my opinion. He wouldn't have given him a red card because he just turns his shoulder into him.
It's not for me, it's not a direct red card,
No.
but it's a booking, and that would have been...
He's already
was on a
ultimately,
yellow, wasn't
ultimately
Yeah.
would have been...
So I
a
think he
sending
got lucky, and that Stuart Atwell didn't have a chance to see it again in that respect, Richard, because he just turned his shoulder into him. I thought it was a clash of heads, we all did,
Yeah.
but it ended up not being. So he was lucky.